We don't have a Bitcoin president. We have an AI and crypto president. And Bitcoin's going to play a role in that, but we're not going to be a sort of Bitcoin pure maxi world. That world just doesn't exist. We are going back into a full tokenized vision like we've never seen before. I got my eyes opened on Bitcoin because I met Tom Lee at this conference in Bermuda. There was an orange peeling moment, putting like a big chunk of your net worth in Bitcoin. And it was I 20x my Bitcoin. And you put in a reasonable chunk and you hold on to it and it 20x's, and it becomes a big chunk of your net worth, right?
Fred Krueger provides an analysis of the current crypto market, predicting a historic surge in the coming week. He recently shared his thoughts on the ongoing economic uncertainty, with tariffs and recession fears causing market volatility. Krueger suggests that a major market rally is on the horizon, and Bitcoin is set to play a key role. As Bitcoin has recently been trading more like a risk asset, it's expected to surge alongside a market recovery. However, if the market remains stagnant, Bitcoin could face short-term pressure. Currently, Bitcoin's price is just above $86,000, up over 3% this week. Krueger notes that markets have historically bottomed out before major events resolve, so a sharp recovery could be seen in the next week. The key takeaway is that Bitcoin's next big move hinges on how this situation unfolds. Let's dive into Fred Krueger's latest interview, where he shares his market predictions for the upcoming days and week. Before we continue with the rest of the video, do check out daily 5-minute crypto newsletter with all the latest crypto and Bitcoin news. It's a fantastic analysis of on-chain crypto data and breakdowns, and the best part is it's absolutely free. They'll cover expert predictions, breakdowns of on-chain crypto data, and any breaking news you need to know, all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description and enter your email to join over 50,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now.
So Bitcoin's kind of trudging along at 800,000 transactions a day, which, by the way, I remember even back in 2018, it was sort of like doing 700,000 transactions a day. So the number of transactions is not increasing with Bitcoin. So despite all the hype about Lightning and everything, Bitcoin is not something that, we're not doubling in terms of Bitcoin users in every 5 years or anything like that. It's not happening. We've got more Bitcoin users, but those Bitcoin users tend to buy and hold, and they don't do a lot with their Bitcoin. I'm one of them. I don't use most of my Bitcoin that much. I do try to use Bitcoin as much as I can. I try to pay people in Bitcoin. I try to orange pill people. But it's a slow slog. So I just want to say, my biggest thing is I think that we're going to a world very quickly where if you walk into an average bar somewhere in city near you, you are going to see, and you ask, how many people have a phantom wallet? That's going to go from 1-2% right now, 2 people out of 100. It's going to go to like 50 people out of 100, right? That we're going to start seeing this ubiquity of wallets. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing, right? Because if you have the majority of people have the wallet, have a standard wallet that can take your token, well, then all kinds of things are possible, right? The restaurant can have its own coin. You can send some coins to the guy sitting next to you at the bar. You can pay the bartender a little tip with coins. You can do everything, right? And people will say, well, I can use Visa. No, you're not going to tip the bartender with the Visa. I mean, you could, but it's not the infrastructure that we're looking for. That's not Web3. That's not the world where the internet finally has this extra thing that was missing from it all the time, which is value. That's the only thing that's missing from the internet, is a means of distributing value electronically. And I think we have to drop the religion that Bitcoin is the only solution to that. In fact, it's not the solution to that. Bitcoin is not going to be the solution to peer-to-peer payments. Satoshi couldn't, he's not like Harry Seldon in the book Asimov, where he can see the future for hundreds of years. Satoshi saw maybe 10 years, 5 years, 10 years. I think he got very freaked out with the whole Silk Road and CIA stuff. So I don't even think he even saw that. So it's really hard to tell what the future is going to bring. And I think this was an attempt at building a very great peer-to-peer currency that couldn't be debased. It has turned into a store of value. I think that's great. I think it has massive upside still. But if you want to kind of actually live a little bit, and if you're young, you're not going to make your fortune by taking your savings of $5,000 and putting them into Bitcoin. That's not going to make you rich. It's a great investment for people who have some money, but it's not going to make you rich. If you're young and you want to make your mark, well, there's not a lot of stuff to do in Bitcoin, right? What are you going to do? You're going to build another Bitcoin wallet? Okay, you're going to work on Lightning. There's very few and far between the options in Bitcoin, but in something like Solana, there's tons of opportunity.
Krueger has remained bullish on 2025, asserting that many in the crypto world fail to realize there is $2 trillion in movable capital. He emphasizes that the sheer scale of money flowing into this asset will be staggering. According to Krueger, once 100 million Americans with brokerage accounts gain access to Bitcoin, that's when the real momentum begins. He firmly believes that Bitcoin will be the primary beneficiary of the upcoming price surge, with ETFs playing a significant role in driving this growth.
None of this would have happened if Kamala Harris was elected, right? So the world changed on November 22nd, November 5th, and January 20th. The world has completely changed. And now we're in a world where laws are going to get rewritten. And more importantly, there's not going to be this enforcement layer. Now we have Hester Pierce, who actually is the voice of sanity at the SEC. And I actually look forward to what the SEC is going to say for the first time ever, right, on digital assets. It's going to be a good, business. So I'm super, super bullish on this Solana-based ecosystem. While there are other coins, and other coins may benefit, there's going to be sort of, you have SUI. These things might do okay, but I think the current winner, it looks like, is the one who actually has the mind share of Solana. So I believe that everything else is kind of a long shot at this point, including ETH. I think ETH is going to be. I really don't think ETH is going to make it as far as getting mass adoption at this point. I don't think it has anything to do with this hack. I just think ETH with MetaMask, with the fees, with the UX, it's not going to make it. So I definitely think the ETH is going to get flipped by Solana this year. I would say that chance has better than 50-50 chance. So, I think if Solana goes to 650 right now at this current price of ETH, it flips. We're about a 3x. So I think that's a pretty good bet, pretty good risk return. There's a number of new Solana ETFs that are coming out. I wouldn't mind buying a Solana ETF with some money. I definitely want to have a position in Solana, a 7-figure position in Solana. Getting Solana at 174 seems like a really great buy to me. And I think, I can see Solana getting to 1,000 this year, right? So that's like a 5x. Bitcoin getting to 500,000 this year seems much more of a stretch, right? But I'm kind of generally bullish, so I don't really want to do these kind of spread bets. I feel like that's kind of getting too complicated. I'd rather just own a little bit of Solana, against my big Bitcoin bags, I've got a little bit too much just in the pure Bitcoin house right now. So I wouldn't mind taking some of my Bitcoin, swapping it for Solana, and some of my other financial assets that are kind of in a different bucket, right? And with those kind of stock assets, purchasing the ETF. So that I have to wait until the Solana ETF comes out. I'm convinced we are going to get the Solana ETF. I'm kind of a traditional investor guy, right? I got my eyes opened on Bitcoin because I met Tom Lee at this conference in Bermuda in 2019. I had owned some Bitcoin, but there was an orange peeling moment putting like a big chunk of your net worth in Bitcoin, and there's a big chunk, but it's still a small chunk, right? Except now, I went up from 5K to 100K, so I 20x my Bitcoin, and you put in a reasonable chunk and you hold on to it, and it 20x's, and it becomes a big chunk of your net worth, right? So that's kind of my Bitcoin journey.
Krueger shares his bold predictions for Bitcoin in the coming months, now that he's fully focused on the cryptocurrency. He not only introduces the groundbreaking Bitcoin power law model, but also explains why he believes a $1 million Bitcoin isn't just possible, it's inevitable. According to Krueger, the current volatility is a natural phase in Bitcoin's maturation and could offer a once-in-a-lifetime investment opportunity. He emphasizes that Bitcoin's decentralized nature and limited supply make it uniquely equipped to weather economic turbulence, asserting that it will ultimately surpass traditional fiat currencies. For Krueger, Bitcoin isn't just a speculative asset, it's the future of money. Those who invest now, he believes, could be part of a financial revolution. What are your thoughts on Fred Krueger's Bitcoin prediction and his vision for the crypto world in the months to come? Share your thoughts below.